Well, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us. My name is John Rustino, and my co-host is John Fidel. Hey, John, how's it going?
Good, John. How you doing this afternoon?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's Super Bowl Sunday. Even though my team isn't there, and your team isn't there, it's still like a holiday. And
Oh
Super Bowl
yeah, it's always a
55.
holiday.
Yeah, Super Bowl 55. And you know, we were talking earlier off air, and we'll bring it to on air now, about it's just really crazy when you sit back and think about it that it's Super Bowl 55. My first Super Bowl, John, I remember was now I'm a little younger, so than you are, John. I remembered the 77 Super Bowl, and I believe that was Dallas and Denver. And yeah, I think it was Dallas Denver. Yes, and it was on my birthday, January 21st. And and I think that Dallas killed them. That was like a Craig Mortensen team, I think, with Denver or something
Oh,
like that. You know, what's your first memory?
my first Super Bowl. Actually, when I was old enough, I was like 8 years old. It was the first Super Bowl, Kansas City and Green Bay.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, they were the two powerhouses in the '60s, and actually, Kansas City knocked Buffalo out to get there that year. And
Oh, that
and it's like it
yeah.
was like deja vu again for us when we had to get knocked out again.
No,
So
I know. Yeah, and it could have been
yeah.
Kansas City, Green Bay again. But John, I want to get your thoughts, and this is for people that don't know who you are. You've been a season ticket holder with the Bills for over 30 years, right?
40 years.
40 years. And this is because we are based out of Niagara Falls, New York. So Buffalo is our local team. John, I wanted to say, your opinion. It seemed like the Bills took a very big step. I mean, and obviously, because they went a little bit where they couldn't win a playoff game. Not only did they win a playoff game, they get to the AFC Championship. Is there anything with the Buffalo Bills coming up this season that you would feel they need? That you would, if you could wave a magic wand, what would you, even if it's just positional
Uh,
and not names?
Me and some of the boys were talking this morning at my church, and we're discussing stuff like we need an edge rusher, outside linebacker, because we're going to lose a few guys.
Right.
Probably another veteran running back and a veteran quarterback, because Matt Barkley's a free agent, so
Right.
we don't know if he's going to be back. And probably need a veteran safety back there.
Right. Yeah.
So we need about 4 or 5 pieces to fill the void
Yeah.
for,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
next year.
Everyone's looking for edge rushers. And I'll tell you, the Bears have an edge rusher in Khalil Mack. And ever since he's come there, he had, except year one, he has, and then this maybe is just an indictment of the Bears, but although their defense plays well, he really hasn't been the disruptor I would have hoped he was going to be. It would be
Yeah,
interesting if you could bring him over to Buffalo, but the amount of money he's being paid, I think, makes him untradeable at this point.
yeah,
So I couldn't see it.
yeah. Unless they could work something out, maybe cut certain guys to free up some money somehow or something like that. But you never know the way they work things out with
Well, I'll
all
tell you
these
this:
GMs.
with Buffalo, and it goes for the Bears too, and other teams. I mean, think how long you waited, Miami, Cleveland, to get a quarterback since the
Yeah,
'90s. Since for the Bears, it's been since '86. I mean, they had just have not had a quarterback, and
yeah, it's kind of embarrassing in a way. How can you go that many years without having a quarterback? There's so many good ones, like every year in the draft.
yeah,
It's
it is embarrassing.
hard to figure it out.
Well,
So,
with the Bears, when they traded up one spot to get Trubisky instead of just picking Deshaun Watson, I mean that was pretty much. Actually, they shouldn't even be allowing this GM. The GM that did that is still making decisions.
yeah,
So and this year, I really hope, and I'm getting really upset with the reports that they're talking about getting Carson Wentz and giving up a lot for it. And it wouldn't surprise me because you got a guy who's fighting for his life in
Mhm.
Ryan Pace. So,
Yes, I heard that rumor late last night myself about Wentz going to Chicago.
oh my gosh. And if it's 2 first-round picks, that's insane. I just can't. The Bears need too much
No,
help.
no, I'd go with I'd draft a young quarterback before I do that with Wentz. If that was me, I mean,
Definitely. Yeah.
so
Well, let's get into what we're here for. Super Bowl 55 is the Chiefs versus the Buccaneers. The Chiefs and Buccaneers played week 12. The Chiefs win the game 27-24, jump out to a huge 17-0 lead, but then Tampa does a great job in the second half and gets close. And I'm sure you probably remember that game, John.
yes, I do. Very, very much so.
Yeah, so I mean it was it might be the way. I mean, the line on the game today is -3, maybe 3.5. Kansas City -3
Yeah,
or 3.5. So, and the over/under is 55, I believe, on this game. Could be
yeah,
55.5. And what are
yeah.
your thoughts on that?
I think it's going to go probably 60, maybe 65
All
points,
right,
around in
right,
there. And what am I looking at? It's going to be like we chatted earlier. I'm going to say probably back and forth seesaw battle right to the end of the game. I'm looking at maybe 35-31 Tampa,
right.
and that whole town will be going bonkers. So,
Well, they're becoming the city of champions in
yeah,
Tampa now.
oh yeah, yeah.
You know,
The Rays are there. They won the World Series. Correct me if I'm wrong.
and you got the Lightning.
Lightning, yeah.
Yeah,
Surprised,
and
I'm
I think
surprised they don't. I'm surprised they don't have an NBA team there
I know.
because
Man, I
it's a
know.
very top. Well, they're in
Yeah,
Orlando. They got their Magic, so
yeah, that's true. Yeah. And boy, they haven't been good in a long time. But you know what? I want to break down a few positions. I know you're an old time and you played it, you've watched it, offensive line, defensive line. So now what we have here is an interesting situation. As of around 2 o'clock this afternoon, our kickoff's at 6:40. The Chiefs will be without 3 offensive linemen. They lost one in the game, the AFC Championship, Eric Fisher. They're without Kalechi. It's a hard name to say. Asamelli, but
yeah,
Mitchell Schwartz may play. But here's the thing: they're going to be without 2 or 3 offensive linemen. The Buccaneers front four, JPP. You've got Shaq Barrett, Vita Vey, and Ndamukong Suh. So, John, give me your thoughts on the possibility of that being a big deal because JPP will probably be going up against Mike Remmers, Shaq Barrett, Andrew Wiley. What are your thoughts on having to play with backups today?
well, I mean, they're probably licking their chops right now. It's like that Tampa front line there. They're gonna go. They're just gonna tee off. I mean, they probably can't wait to get going. And I mean, they're gonna be blitzing all day. I can see them possibly getting like 5 sacks. It would not surprise me. And who knows, maybe more. You don't know what this game is going to be. It could either be a close game or it could be a blowout. Who knows what's going to happen?
Right, well,
Especially,
you're
go ahead.
no, I was just going to say your Chiefs defensive coordinator, I believe, is Todd Bowles, and he's one who does love to blitz.
Yes,
And I don't know why I just said that. I'm talking about. I said that wrong. The Buccaneers defensive coordinator is Todd Bowles, and he
Todd
likes
Bowles.
to. Yeah, he likes to. He does like to bring pressure, and that's what they did in the second half. I
Yeah,
rewatched a little of the game, in that Week 12 matchup. Now for Tampa Bay, Antonio Brown is questionable. Cameron Brate is questionable. I think Brate probably has a better chance of playing than Brown, but Brate and Gronk are a good combination. The biggest thing that I've seen as being a matchup maybe win for the Bucs is Mike Evans against Charvarius Ward, I believe his name is, and
yes,
yeah, the Evans did well against him in week 12, had a touchdown. And also, Evans, this was interesting, and I heard this on ESPN. The side of the field that, I got to say this right, Brady likes to throw to is the side where Charvarius Ward will be. So that's interesting. You know, I mean, we're breaking down things. They're going to be paralyzed by analysis soon because we can't stop analyzing this game.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he's going to work on that too, the whole game, right from the get-go. I mean, you know, Brady's got the smarts to know each player on the defense, so he's going to chip away at it. And I wouldn't be surprised if he has like a 300, 350-yard passing day around in there.
You know from watching Brady for so long and stuff that he needs a running game. The Chiefs' run defense has held 5 of the last 7 teams they've played under 100 yards. Chris Jones is their edge rusher for the Chiefs. And the Buccaneers have Leonard Fournette, who has played really well towards the end of the season in the playoffs, and, of course, Ronald Jones. Mm-hmm. How important do you think, I want your opinion on this, play-action passes for Tom Brady?
Oh, that's very important. He's the master. I don't know, I'm going to say I compare him to Joe Montana.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he watches his tapes because that was his idol growing up. So,
right.
I think he'll still be okay in that picture of the game.
Yeah, you have the Chiefs defense. This is something we were talking about off air. This is interesting. Steve Spagnuolo is the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs, and he was also the Giants. Yeah, and he was also the Giants defensive coordinator in 2007 when the Giants upset the Patriots. Yeah. Just an interesting kind of, I don't know if it means anything, but interesting in itself.
Oh, yeah. It's something to watch, though. That's for sure. I know I will be.
Well, now, Tyrann Mathieu is someone I know for the Chiefs that he's a disruptor at safety. Mm-hmm. He's an awfully good. I remember him from this year. I don't know if you probably remember this play. He intercepted that pass, and the Seattle, I'm going to forget the wide receiver's name. The Seattle wide receiver, the big guy, their good wide receiver. He chased him down from behind.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf. Thank you. Yep. So, but Tyrann Mathieu is a blitzer. They do those run blitzes with him. And I tell you, he gets a lot of turnovers, and he'll be interesting to see. I think the Chiefs have to blitz, too, a little. They got to get Brady. You can't let Brady just sit there. Yeah.
I'm sure they will. They got something up their sleeves, I'm sure.
Great coach.
Andy Reid. Yeah.
Now, the Kansas City running game. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is back, who was not there for the last couple of games. Should be a big upgrade over, I think it's Damian Williams, who was there against Buffalo. Now, the Buccaneers, though, lead the league in rush defense, and that was all season. They only give up 80 yards per game. Because of Ndamukong Suh and Vita V, they're very difficult to run on. And John, is that where you're getting your prediction from? I mean, are you seeing them? You see, here's the thing for me: if Tampa blitzes, they got to get Mahomes though, because if Mahomes is able to get away, you know what happens. It ends up then that's where he's at his best. I think is when he's scrambling. So. If they do blitz, they have to get him, John, right?
Yes.
Because it's hard to keep on Tyreek Hill, I imagine, for more than how many seconds can you keep with him and that Hardman? So you're definitely going to need a pass rush to get to to get to Patrick Mahomes. Brady also. I mean, I guess it's both for both sides. But Mahomes, my thing is with Mahomes is if he gets away, it's a big play coming.
Yes, sir.
Well, the last thing that I want to bring up is the Kansas City passing attack, which you just were a little bit. And a guy like Travis Kelce, what do you see in him today? Do you see a big game out of Kelce? I mean, the guy's dominant.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at maybe 7, 8 catches. He's always in the mix. So I could see him breaking one
Right.
for like a 40, 50 yarder, which he usually always does. So that
Yeah.
guy's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm
That would be something for your Bills. There's some guys out there that they could use. I think there's a couple free agents that are decent. That
Yeah.
Buffalo, I bet you a nice tight end would be helpful for
Oh yeah, that's
for
it.
him.
I didn't bring that up earlier. And plus today you're gonna see two of the best tight ends with Gronkowski and Kelsey. So
Yeah. Yeah. And Gronk, I'm sure will do. I mean, this is this is an incredible story, obviously, to have him and Brady being able to. I mean, I would imagine this is Gronkowski's last year. I would think he already retired once. You know,
no, he's hitting it coming back next year with he's gonna be there until Brady quits. So
Brady quits. Yeah, well, not a bad idea because you're always in the
yeah,
mix
yeah,
all the time.
yeah,
Now, special teams, John, for both these teams. Harrison Butker is the kicker. Ryan Suckup is for Tampa.
yeah.
Not any real threats. Got maybe Hardman for Kansas City, but you don't see really. That would be interesting if there was some special teams play or something that were to change this game. John, your thoughts on the special teams?
Uh, it could be a key, maybe in the second half for who's gonna take it, for like getting an advantage there on kickoffs, what have you. But I don't know if it's going to be much of an factor there, the way their offenses are.
Yeah,
But it could.
yeah, no,
It might surprise everybody.
that's like yeah, and of course one of the bigger things I remember in the Bills game, that was my key is they can't if whoever turns it over more will lose. So turnovers are going to be obviously are going to be key, and I would think that Tampa's gonna want to try to control the ball. I would imagine the running game will have to get going for them to be able to keep Kansas City off the field. And John, I am looking
Mhm.
forward to this one. I always look forward to the Super Bowl though, and
Oh, me too.
I'm gonna make my prediction here, and then I'm gonna. Well, let me ask you something real quick before I make my prediction. We
Sure.
talked about this off the air. Um, the Lions. I want to talk about a couple quarterback situations. The Lions trade to get Jared Goff, and 2 first-round picks, and I think I'm even forgetting another pick. And LA gets Stafford. And it's starting to remind me of hockey a little bit, where it's like a salary dump
Oh
because
yeah.
Goff is due a ton of money, and LA's keeping a lot of it. You know, on the field though, what do you think, John? Between the two, any thoughts on the two quarterbacks?
I think Detroit won that deal. And it's gonna show probably next year right away.
Right.
'Cause I don't see Stafford doing much for LA. I just don't see it because he's been around and he's had many chances to prove himself, and he just hasn't done it. Who knows? Maybe going somewhere different it will change him, but I don't know. We'll have to.
Right.
I'm going to take a wait and see approach on that trade and get back to you on it.
Yeah, because I agree with you though. Detroit wins right now before anyone steps on the field. I think just getting those first-round picks was incredible. And the next one I want to talk about is there's two quarterbacks. First, let's talk about Deshaun Watson. He wants out. They don't have to trade him though. So interesting, John. Do you see any? Do you think he leaves, or do you think they just keep him, even though he wants out? So it's a tough situation. What do you think?
I don't know if it's a ploy for him trying to get better players around him in Houston.
Right.
Uh, Either it's that or I got two teams. I think he's gonna end up either New England because they got a lot of money there, and I think he might end up in Atlanta
Oh yeah,
because Matt Ryan's up there in age. Who knows how long he's gonna be there, or if he's
right.
gonna even be dumped this year. But
Y-
I heard the Jets too. But then again, they've been quiet on that front.
Yeah, they have. And there's another quarterback. I should have brought him up too. Um, he's been there's been a lot of calls from what Adam Schefter has said, inquiring on the 23-year-old. I mean, he's what's he 22, 23 years old.
23,
So
yeah.
yeah, I mean, and the Chicago Bears, which is scaring me about Carson Wentz. And the only real reason I have a problem with Carson Wentz is the amount of draft picks that the Eagles would want for Carson Wentz. I mean, he was outstanding in 2017 until he got hurt. And I've read some things, John, and I don't know if you have heard this, and I never heard of this, that Carson Wentz was kind of a problem within the locker room. He was tough to deal with. Now I don't know if that's
Yeah.
just the Eagles smearing him, because it was in the Philadelphia paper. Um, but I didn't see that in him, and I don't know what your thoughts on what are your thoughts on Wentz? Is he worth? He can't be worth two firsts.
No, I could see maybe maybe one first, but I think they do that with a lot of players in Philly, where they just create something just to get rid of them. They done it. They did it with McCoy and other players there,
Yeah, yeah, that's
and
true.
maybe he needs a change of scenery. Maybe he'll do good somewhere else.
Well, you
So
know what? You know what other team needs a quarterback is Indianapolis. The Colts are
yes,
sitting there with nothing now, and so there's a lot of quarterback. There's a lot of places now. The Bears, like for the Bears example, unfortunately, making the playoffs was a waste of time. It would have been better off for them not to, because they have the
yeah,
20th. They have the 20th pick now overall. So would you trade the 20th pick overall for Carson Wentz? Maybe. Um,
no, not
they
about
lost their.
no,
What's that?
no, not if I could get a young quarterback in the draft.
Yeah,
You never know what
yeah.
you never know what's out there.
Well,
So
I wonder, the guy from Alabama, maybe, or there's another kid from North Dakota State too. Who,
yeah, I forgot about him. I forget his name.
yeah, me too. I'm drawing a blank, but he's interesting. Um, with Detroit getting a quarterback, they were like picking number 9, although they give the pick, I guess, to LA. So I,
LA, yeah.
that I would think, because I thought Detroit was going to draft a quarterback. That's what I had envisioned for them, but
Mhm.
I don't know. And the Bears had their chance with Deshaun Watson, and he's worth too much now. They should have drafted him on draft day instead of
Oh
Trubisky.
yeah.
Now Trubisky will be available too.
Hmm.
I guess he'd be a backup to somebody maybe, but sadly for Trubisky, I'm going to tell you something, John. When they had the double doink against the Eagles, in that playoff game, Trubisky did well. He threw for over 300 yards,
Yeah.
no picks, 3 touchdowns. And if he doesn't double doink Cody Parkey, might be a different feeling towards Trubisky. You know what I mean? He'd have won a playoff game as a
Oh yeah.
rookie. So,
Now he could go. He could go to another team and do well. Who knows?
did you hear what Stafford said? He was able to stop. He had the no trade clause. The only
Hmm.
team he said he wouldn't go to was New England.
Hmm. I heard
That was
that
not.
yesterday.
Yeah,
Yes.
he could. Now I guess that's because well, when you think about New England, they just never have receivers. You know what I mean? They
Hmm.
just don't have that kind of player. But Tom Brady made them good. It's kind of a weird thing. I mean, the only one I remember was Randy Moss as far as your star
Yeah.
types. And
Well, back in the day, Brady made any type of receiver a great receiver. So I don't care who it was. He just guys played for him just the way they are now. Because
yeah,
Tampa Bay was nothing before this year. So
right. Yeah, no, you're right. Oh geez, I missed one comment from David. I wish I would have known. I'm still getting used to StreamYard, this app here, and oh yeah, that's right. Wade says about Wes
Yeah.
Welker. Yeah, Jacoby Brissett wasn't a bad quarterback.
Oh yeah, Wes
Yeah,
Walker.
yeah, and I liked Jacoby Brissett. I did like him. I mean, I don't know. He
Mhm.
was in Indy. I think he's still in Indy. He might
Yeah,
have been the back.
he's still there. I think he deserves a shot. I mean, he's been around. He was Brady's backup, and
Right. Oh, right. Oh, David Florio made a good point, and you're right. I didn't even think of this. Matt Patricia got hired in New England, so if there was a problem with Patricia
yeah.
and Stafford, that would make sense why he'd say, "I don't want to go to New England." I didn't even think
Oh,
of
okay.
that.
Yeah, that makes sense now.
Yeah, thank you, David. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So I guess what I should do here, John, is give my prediction. And then I want to give everyone that's going to see this later what our show is going to be about. And my prediction for the Super Bowl is it's going to sit at 31-28 for a while. Kansas City will have the lead. And then I think Kansas City will win the game 34-28. That is my Super Bowl prediction. That also gives you, well, that covers the spread. And it also gives you the over. So you're going with the over in Tampa, though, right, John?
Yes, I'm going 38-34 Tampa.
Tampa. Okay. So we're both going over the total. And one thing we failed to say, this is the first time in 55 games that there's actually a home team
Yeah.
playing in their own stadium. Very strange. They
Yeah.
they
From,
yeah, they
from the
can't
get
fire
go.
the cannon. Yeah, they can't fire the cannon though. That's a rule. The Buccaneers aren't allowed to fire the cannon off the
Yeah.
boat. So what are you gonna do? Let me see what we got here. David's got a thing. He's saying he's rooting for the Bucks, but he thinks Kansas City wins the game 38-28. Yeah, yeah. I hope it's good. I hope it's like you said, John. It comes down to the wire. It's back and forth. Um, we've had good Super Bowls lately. Remember the run of Super Bowls that were just terrible in the
Oh
80s?
yeah. Yeah, like they're all blowouts, and
Yeah,
I can remember one Super Bowl where 49ers won like 55-10 over Denver,
yeah,
if
yeah,
I remember.
yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, well, we went on a run. The Bears won 46-10. The
Yeah.
Giants beat the hell out of Denver. You're right then and I think San Diego was in a Super Bowl. Geez, I'm forgetting. Was that again? That might have been against the 49ers? Or no,
I'm
maybe I'm
pretty
wrong.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So there was just beatings after beatings. And now we're
Yeah.
in a good run of good Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let's see here. David Florio, thank you for your comment. I put it up on the screen. KC may be the best team I've seen since the Dallas Cowboys of the early 90s. Well, he might be right. I mean,
He's
you
right.
definitely,
Yeah.
yeah. I
They're
mean,
gonna be there. They're gonna be there for like probably 5 to 7 years, I'm looking at.
right.
Not
Yeah.
in the Super Bowl every year, but I think they're gonna be in the mix.
Yeah. And David
Mm.
also reminds us 1994 was the 49ers versus the Chargers. And
Oh yeah,
yeah, no,
yeah.
if Mahomes stays healthy, let's say he has no big injury, nothing to shorten him, geez, he may rival um like Tom Brady's championship rings.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, you're right.
You know how it was like back in the day was Peyton Manning versus Tom Brady all them years. I'm looking
Yeah.
at Mahomes and Josh Allen for a long time,
Yeah,
and
that would be
maybe throw Lamar Jackson in there too every so often.
yeah,
So
he needs to win a playoff game. Jeez,
yeah,
that kid can't win a playoff game. And not only can't win a playoff game, but he doesn't look really good at it. So
Mhm.
in those games, Wade, you're right. I know the Patriots. I mean, they're a dynasty. Sure, they are. They're a dynasty, and deserve all the accolades they get, and have gotten. I agree with that. It's they've been outstanding, and I think right now with the Patriots, John. It's just getting their footing back into,
Yeah.
no Tom Brady. I mean, he
Hmm.
was the guy. I mean, well, think about it. Bill Belichick was a head coach in Cleveland, and you know, they kind of ran him out of there, and it goes in line with, like, you know what, managers. I still think players win games. Then I'll let you talk on this for a second, John. Players win the games. I know you need a good coach and all that, but I always think of Joe Torre. That guy was in mediocrity, coaching the Mets, coaching the Cardinals,
Oh yeah.
and mediocre. And then he goes to New York. I mean, if Buck Showalter stays there, who knows? Maybe Buck Showalter's the guy who everyone thinks could have,
Hmm.
been that dynasty. But I want your thoughts, John. Players play, coaches coach. Who do you think is, like, what's more integral to the team winning, the player or the coach? Because we're kind of seeing that in New England.
I'm gonna go with the player. Players. I think the players decide who's going to win and which coach is going to be the winning coach somehow.
Yeah.
They could lay down, or you know what I mean. They could lay down or play for them, and I think that's what's happening with certain teams.
Right. Oh yeah. Well, we've seen it. We've seen it with coaches that have been brilliant somewhere out. Well, geez, remember the guy from anyone? I mean, you think about Barry Switzer. You think about even Bill Parcells when he goes other places. I mean, it wasn't just an automatic.
Yeah,
The players had to play the game for them. Mike Ditka, geez, he went to New Orleans. It was an embarrassment, and so it's it's interesting. I know some people think coaches. I know it's perfect when you have the perfect marriage of players and coaches, but I agree with the player. Wade says coaches. It's all,
yeah,
it's a tough question. So,
yeah.
John, what are your plans for the Super Bowl? Anything?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go to a little small get together.
Nice.
Keeping it close to home though.
Yeah, me
I could
too.
walk. I could walk to my party that I'm going to. So,
Yeah,
and
that's perfect. That's good. I'm gonna be home. Me and Robin loves football, so we'll watch it together, and my son, and just relax. Still getting over that COVID stuff. I mean, even though we're
yeah,
not, it's just the post COVID, but whatever. So, John, I want to explain to everybody, we're looking to have this show once a week. Right now, we're thinking about Fridays and maybe 6 o'clock. We'll definitely put that out there to make sure. But this is our show. It'll be
sure.
me and John. We will have guests. We John and I both know some pretty good people in the couple of the reporters that work for NFL, Sirius NFL Network. Some players, John. You were talking about Reuben Brown, who is also on the radio. We have some guys in the NHL that I know, also have press credentials with some teams, and some baseball connections and NBA. So we'll be trying to get as much out there, excuse me, um, with national and local people that would be in a locker room, be able to talk to the players, have a little more insight than we would sitting here, and guests. People will also be able to, hopefully, by the time we get ready to kick off, our phone lines will be ready. We'll have callers and all that, John. So I'm really looking forward to
Sure.
working with you. You
I
know,
am too, John. I'm excited.
yeah, it's
Just
going to be
about
a.
doing. I was shocked to do this today. So,
Yeah, I know. I pulled this out of no. I know. I was looking at it. I'm like, oh, let's do it. I know me and you could talk forever. We've done it. I've done it at
oh
different
yeah,
places for hours about
yeah,
sports. So,
oh yeah. No,
but
not a problem with me.
I know
So,
you. I love it too. So what we'll be doing is, as soon as we have the exact day and time, John, we'll make sure that we get it out, of course, on Facebook, on our Gold Medal Media page, share it everywhere.
mm,
And, and just looking forward to being one of the few podcasts that I know of in Western New York that does, we're going to do all the sports. It's going to be college
oh,
sports, NFL,
sure.
NBA, everything, NHL, the whole thing.
High
Uh,
high school.
Yeah, MLB, the everything. So we're not going to be specific to one. Of course, here in Buffalo, we may have a little more on the Buffalo teams, but not strictly. And John, I thank you for coming on last notice, especially on a beautiful Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday.
No problem.
All right, and we'll be everyone will be seeing us again.
And say hi to your family there, and have a great Super Bowl day.
You too, John. Take care.
God bless,
Bye,
John.
everybody.
Bye
Bye.
now.